Hi my friends, welcome back to part 2 of this fantastic little tutorial. Let me show you how we're getting on. Okay, this is Carrington Hill in County Kerry. Carrington Hill Mountain. I think that's how it's pronounced. Very funny kind of a name. This is how far we are. Sky, hills, nice snow on the hills, a little bit of land and some rocks. Aren't they fantastic? So we're just going to finish this part down here. There's a little footpath coming along with lots of rocks and grass and all that kind of stuff. Let me show you the reference photograph. Okay, so that's what we're painting. Okay, I just thought it'd be nice with something different, something with a bit of texture, something that you can kind of leave, just kind of break loose with your palette knife, all that kind of stuff. I might even make a tutorial just on painting snowy hills out of this video as well, so you might see that uploaded pretty soon. You know, as opposed to just painting one full tutorial, I think I could make a few smaller little tutorials, painting rocks with a knife, perhaps. You know, a few short 5 or 6 minute tutorials. But anyway, let's crack on and have a bit of fun with this. My colours are still here. I think they're still wet. It's been 2 days, so that's nice and dry, I would imagine. I may have to add more paint to my palette. But that's it. We are ready to go. Let's have some fun and paint this. And we stick a frame on it at the end to see what it looks like. Yes, this will be a lot of fun. So go on, grab your stuff if you want to follow me along. And let's have a bit of fun. Okay. Oh, don't forget your cup of coffee or tea. I have my cup of tea here. Love my cup of tea in the mornings. So go on, let's have a bit of fun. Okay, here we go. Now, you see the reference photograph there. I'm just going to continue on and go down here and get all this filled in. It's going to be a short tutorial, all right? Just part. There's not much work in this. So I'm going to just take a medium flat brush, all right? Medium flat. And let's just start getting all this colour in. I'm just going to put in a nice rich dark brown colour, all right? I'm going to take some burnt umber, mix it with some sienna. I have some sienna here already. Luckily my colours are still a little bit wet. They're not very wet, but I get away with this. Now, I'm just going to fill this in. It's a nice colour, isn't it? Nice warm colour. I'm just basically going to put in this nice little undercoat, let's call it. So more sienna, more burnt umber, and I might take a little bit of magenta as well, just to warm that, okay? I'm really loving this magenta lately. It's a beautiful colour. On its own, it's a little bit cold, but when you mix it with other colours like browns and blacks, you get some beautiful warm colours. That now, or a nice dioxine purple or something like that, would make really lovely colours. So you should experiment. Every now and again, I like to add extra colours to my palette. It just kind of opens up your painting a little bit and your colour mixing. Normally I would kind of stick with the same colours for a long time, but I think, let's take a bit of crimson. I think it's a good idea to add different colours and mix and match, because you'll be very surprised what you'll end up with when you mix different colours together. You know, you might otherwise not realise just how lovely the colours can be until you mix them together, okay? Even though you might think that mixing a certain colour with a certain colour might not look nice, when you mix it, it can be fantastic. The results can be astonishing. So do mix and add new colours to your palette every now and then, all right? It's a good practice. I'm just going to go up here now and fill this in. Now, excuse me. Okay, right. I think what I'll do is add some dark to this. Let's get some black. That's some rich black, isn't it? And I'll take some crimson and magenta to that. That'll give us a nice kind of a dark purpley kind of a colour. Okay. And I just want to kind of get in some of the dark sides of these bushes and reeds and all that kind of stuff. Stuff that you'd find up in the hilltop mountain, you know, those kind of dark rushes and reeds, all that kind of thing. Just put some of these in here get some, it's just to get some tones and contrast, that's all. Along the footpath, some nice dark ones down here. I'll put in then my lights over this, okay? Now, more magenta, some black, some burnt umber. This is just paint on its own, all right? Some nice dark colour in there. Excuse me. And I'll be building my lights then on top of this, all right? I'm going to just darken some of these rocks here. And I'll put in the light side of these rocks then very soon, all right? And I'm also going to sort of, now this paint is still a little bit wet, so I'm going to kind of soften that down here and there into that colour, all right? That just helps, you see, it just helps bring everything down and everything together. Okay, just like that. Now, at this stage, I'm going to go to a fan brush. I think a nice little fan brush. Let's do some work with our fan brush. I have a couple of old ones here now, but they're quite hard, you see. When they're not cleaned properly, they go quite hard. So I have a new one here, new little fan brush, and we just dampen that ever so slightly. I'll go into some Naples yellow, and I go into some burnt sienna. Tiny bit of thinners. The thinners will just help the brush stroke be more a more full brush stroke, do you know what I mean? And more Naples yellow, little touch of magenta as well. That will just warm it a little bit. And let's pop some of this in. Look, lovely little grass popping up here and there. Then I'm going to soften the dark one up into that, you see. So that's where I like to put my darks in first. Get some beautiful colour. More Naples yellow. I'm going to take a hint of cadmium yellow now as well. In this. Just to catch some light, okay? A hint of yellow makes a big difference. Then I'll take some Naples yellow with cadmium yellow. I know this is probably slightly brighter than the photograph, but that's okay. Just going to go in here and create some light hitting some of these. It's just really, I just want to create some texture, that's all. That's all I want to do. Okay, just some texture on the ground, nothing else. Now you can also, if you wish, let's get some Naples yellow, magenta, some cad yellow. You can also just use the fan brush on its side like this and create some light that way as well. Remember, we're only creating texture, nothing else. Now I'm going to get some sienna with crimson and some Naples yellow, and there's a lovely rich colour around as well. I can see a lovely rich kind of a red hue around here and there. Just going to soften out some of those darks. Give that a clean. Then I'm going to go really dark, all right? I'm going to take some black, some crimson. And I'm going to go in here and go really dark with that. I will add a little touch of purple then as well in a moment. But first, let me just get some nice darks in here. I'm just flicking the brush upwards, look. Small little flicks upwards. A bit more crimson. Keep this nice and warm. Okay. And I'm really only using the photograph as a reference for colours, okay? I'm kind of making this up myself. I was trying to make it myself and just put my own little touch on it. Do you know what I mean? So let's go and mix a nice purple, some phaylo blue, crimson, and a hint of white. And that hint of white will just give this some luminosity, okay? Some nice luminosity. Let me show you what I mean. You see? And it just brings those shadows to life. A little bit more crimson. It does help. Makes a difference. See that? And then you could just take some crimson on its own, perhaps with some magenta, and add a little bit of that pink in there, just to complement the pinks in the rest of the painting. Does that make sense? Okay, let's leave it at that. Just for now, all right? I want to get this footpath in. Let me clean my small flat brush, my apologies, and let's mix a nice grey for this. Similar grey to the rocks, I think. So I'm going to take some white, a little magenta, some Naples yellow. I think I'll try that just for now, and we'll see. We can always add to this. I'm going to go light first, and then put some darker tones in. I'll add a hint of this purple to it, I think. Yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it? A nice warm kind of a grey. Let's just fill this in all the way around. And you could see I even have some colour on my brush already. And I like doing that. That's a good practice, because it helps bring the painting together, because it's picking up certain colours from the brush and it's softening together, okay? So it's really helping the composition. So I don't kind of usually do this with a completely clean brush. I allow the brush to mix the colours for me with some of the colours already on the brush. Does that make sense? I think it really helps. Now I just want to fix this. I don't want a kind of a flat line going across. The footpath is very rough, so let me just go in here a little bit like that. But we'll fix all of this as well in a moment, okay? Let me just pull some of that out. You see, I'm pulling the colours out as well. So it's really... And then I'm going to put a nice dark shadow on one side of this. I'll try some of this purple, I think. I think that might be nice. Let's get some blue and magenta. And a hint of black, okay? I'm going to get a nice shadow in here. Then I'm going to simply pull the shadow outwards like this, okay? And then it just sort of tapers off like that, okay? Now I'm going to add a little bit of black to that and a little bit of brown. I just want to darken that in some parts. Okay, now again, sit back, take a look, see what you think. That's not bad at all. Now I'll take more black and more brown, and I just want to strengthen some of those just in by the grassy area there, okay, by that verge. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to just simply soften them together. Now I'm also going to soften the top of the footpath sort of into the distance, you see. So it's difficult then to tell where it goes. Do you understand what I mean? Just soften it in. That just adds an air of mystery to the painting. Okay, next thing I'm going to do now is take my fan brush and I'm just going to sort of dab over that. So it's a gravel footpath, you see. So I just want it to look rough, just like a rough gravel. So I'm picking up the colour and I'm moving it around. Just to rough it up a little. Now you might say that's a little bit on the bright side, it needs to be darker, but I think that little bit of light catching it is quite nice. Now I'm going to put in some little rocks. I want to start some little rocks just over here and there. So I'm going to get some, what I'll do, we'll try our palette knife. Let's go, let's try our palette knife for this. Where's my palette knife? Here it is. Let's take some white, titanium white, Naples yellow, little magenta. You have a lovely soft kind of a pink there, okay? And let's just go and add some rocks in here. You know, it's just an impression, a bit more Naples yellow, I think. I think it needs to have that kind of sunlit colour, don't you? So it's just really the kind of traditional style of palette knife rocks, okay? You can have a bit of fun with this. Couple more down here. And we have kind of one or two poking out. And I might just add a little bit of that colour up here as well and just refine some of those. Bring them down. Okay. Then I'm going to take my small brush, small pointy brush. I'm just going to add some darkness to the back of those. Put some of that black into some of this purple here. And let's just add a little bit of shadow to some of these. I'm going to mix a proper dark colour for this. Blue, black and magenta, okay? Let's get some nice dark colour in here. So let's just go like that. Okay, so just painting the back of the rocks. Plus we're going to be adding more grass and stuff like that to all of this, so you don't have to be too particular with this, if you know what I mean. It's just a case of just have a bit of fun. Have a bit of fun with all of this. Okay, there we go. And add a little touch of darkness maybe to the back of that. Then I'm going to go in with some highlights. I'll take some Naples yellow, some white, and a hint of magenta. In fact, you could even take a hint of sienna as well. Make it nice and bright, but the magenta then kind of warms it a little. You see what I mean? Give it that little bit of warmth. Now I'm going to add some grass and stuff like that to this in just a moment, yeah? So let's go back to our fan brush. And we also have little bits of snow, that kind of thing as well, which is quite nice. I need to get some crimson on my palette. Take a little touch of crimson there. And I'm going to take some crimson with some sienna. I'm going to pop a little bit of that. You see, just kind of leave it dance around here and there. Even come out into the footpath as well, look. Then some Naples yellow as well. Then I put some Naples yellow with sienna on some of these to create just some nice bright highlights. So, a little bit of snow. Let's put a little touch of snow in here and there because there's a bit of snow around as well. I'd like to get that impression of little bits of snow. So I'm taking some blue with some white. Okay, look, lots of white and some crimson. Let's pop some snow in here and there. Little touches of snow over here as well. I may add a little bit more blue to this and crimson just to make it more of purpley kind of a blue. Does that make sense? Because in the shadows the snow is going to be more purple rather than just white. Does that make sense? So just little dabs of snow showing up here and there, you see? Just to kind of catch your eye, that's all. You can soften it through with your finger as well. Look, just sort of let it merge into the ground. And I'm going to pop a few more of those in here and there on the rocks as well. Okay, so you can see now that all just kind of adds a little touch of interest to the painting, doesn't it? Maybe a little bit on top of this rock here, like that. Then I'm going to add some light to some of these rocks as well. So I'll clean my brush, take some Naples yellow with a little crimson. I'm going to add some light. I want really bright colour over here. So Naples yellow, a little touch of crimson and some white. Needs to be nice and bright to show up. There we go, you see? So just little touches of that colour. Here and there. Just on those rocks, alright? And you could even just refine some of these ones as well. Okay, so it's just a nice simple painting, you know, nothing too sort of dramatic in all of this. I'm going to add a little touch of light to some of the rocks in the foreground here. Just think they need a little touch of something, a little extra, just to bring them to life a little bit more. And my friends, I think we're there. How about adding a person walking along the path? I think somebody with a bright red will really jump out. What do you think? Let's put a little bit of red there. Yeah, I think somebody with bright red would look nice. So let's just go and suggest someone walking along like a hiker, okay? I'm going to make it a little bit on the big side. So red there, a little bit of brown for a little bit of shadow on one side. And then a little bit of black for the legs. A little stick or something like that for walking. I'll pop a little bit of Naples yellow on his back, we'll say it's a little backpack or something like that. I'll take a little purple, then a little shadow, and I just pull a little shadow out. Same with a stick. Like so. Then I might just pop a little cap or a hat or something just to finish the top, all right? I think something like that is just enough. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to go crazy with this, go crazy with detail. I don't want to kind of take away from painting. So it's just a kind of a suggestion, that's all. And somebody mentioned to me about my bird in my last painting. I forgot to put a bird in. So I'm going to pop a little small bird in just up here, okay? Little bird up in the corner. And my friends, we're done. We are there. Let me sign. It's only a small signature, okay? Can't be seen very well, but it's there. And that's it. Now little things like a couple of dots here and there. Could be some rocks, that kind of thing. Just a little suggestion. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me see, can I zoom in a little? Now, one thing I want to do is I want to warm some of the rocks. I think these rocks are slightly cool, a little bit colder for my liking. I think I might just warm them a little. Give them more of a kind of a sunlit colour. So let's try it. Let's take some Naples yellow, some cad yellow, and a touch of crimson, okay? I just feel they're a little bit on the cold side for me. So I just want to lighten them ever so slightly, but warm them at the same time. Does that make sense? A little bit of sienna, a little bit of Naples yellow, a little bit of crimson. And let me just try this colour here. I think this might work a little bit better. I just want to add a little hint of warmth to them. I'd say that's a little bit better. Would you? Okay, we are done. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. Let me see if I can turn the camera slightly without ruining everything. Okay, there we are. I hope you enjoyed that. That's really fun. I'll stick a frame on that. I must just unmount a frame from a previous painting, and I'll frame it, take a photograph and show you what it looks like. Okay, thank you so much for your support. If you're on Patreon, thank you so much. I have a lovely cloud tutorial coming for patrons in the coming days. I think it's for Wayne. So I hope you enjoy those tutorials as well. If you do want to support me, just pop over to Patreon and have a look around, see what you think. Lots of extra tutorials there. But in the meantime, try that, have a bit of fun, and I hope you've learned something about painting rocks and snowy hills, that kind of thing. Just to keep it simple, okay? Have fun, and I will see you very soon. Thank you, and God bless.